test my light game, make sure it sounds good. All right, I think today's Saturday, and I've got a lot to do. I've got a lot on my plate. I wanted to share some information about some mics that I have. So I did a two-part mic on this Cascade. I have two of these. One still has to be done. I did this one last night. This has already been gone through. This Cascade, this one is from my friend in New York. He actually has two of these, and actually this mic, which we're going to talk about today, is from him. And I have one more, which is pretty much the exact same one as this Cascade, except made by Golden Age, which is interesting because Pinnacle, Cascade, Golden Age, they kind of mirror each other in mic designs. For instance, this Cascade is the same as the Pinnacle and it's the same as the Golden Age. This Cascade is probably the same as the Pinnacle, and then Golden Age has that one. This one is from MXL. These are one of my favorite mics that I do. This one's a little bit special. This one is made with pure silver wiring. It's the sixth one I've made. This one is for sale. So if you're interested in a really cool ribbon, this one's for sale, this one's for sale. But these two are from my homie Chaz in New York City. He has a really wicked studio out there. He sent me some microphones to work on, but I wanted to talk to you about some of these because this microphone, for whatever reason, they're a little bit hard to find. They just don't show up all the time. It's called an MXL R80. Now, technically, you could say almost they're different. I mean, they're almost the same, but they're not really. The only similarity is this one internally is a little bit different than some other ones that I've seen. And hold on one second, I put this mic back. So like I said, all my information is in the description. My email's at the bottom, all my social media. Let me put this one back. This is the fathead I did last night. Wicked microphone. Probably one of my favorite lollipops that they make. And the lollipop has a lot to do with the head basket. And for example, these microphones, this one has a 2-inch ribbon. And then this one, if you can see it, has a 3-inch ribbon. That long silver thing in the middle right there is, you know, is a ribbon. See, comp recorder 64. The Golden Ages are much easier to get a hold of in Europe than Cascade. Even tried. Well, I will say this about most microphones, even the ones that you mentioned. Joey, all right, Joey's in time. We're early. But yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, the bottom line about when I talk about Cascades and these mics, they're all Chinese mics. Unless there's a factory that makes them identical, almost every one of the transducers and some of the smaller ones look like this. And inside the fatheads, inside the pinnacles, inside the Golden Age, these are all from probably a factory in China. But all ribbon mics aren't created equal. This transducer that you see inside this one is very much like an R84 from AEA. And it's one of my favorite ones. I think it's the best design. These are an R88s, I believe. And just incredible open and sound. Now, Cascade, from what I heard, the owner had passed away and the family took over and they call it Pinnacle now. But you can't, I mean, they made a lot of them, so you can find Cascades everywhere. They're probably one of the more expensive of the low budget ribbon mics because obviously they're made in China, but the manufacturing and the marketing and whatever they have, they look a little bit better. And they actually loaded them up with Lendau transformers, some of them. I don't think this one's called a Victor. So I'm selling this one. This one is $450. I think if you look online to find a Victor, probably going to be about $300 to $400 to $450 for something that's like this. Technically, this is Apex a long time ago they called them I think they were called 210s, and early on, Tape Op and a lot of Shiny Box had made somewhat this design from China, and they've all just been remarketed, repainted. But technically, they always come with, and I'll be honest, sorry about my French, a fucked up ribbon. Um, so the ribbons aren't good in any of these. Even the fatheads, I don't know anything about what the ribbons are and the Oma ribbons. I know Sammy and I know his wife. I knew them when they're at AEA, and I was lucky enough to go to AEA for a lot of years. I even had one of the first R84s that was from Vintage King, when Vintage King was out of pretty much the size of a closet, which is just a storage space in El Sereno. So yeah, so this one is super killer, super rad. Hold on a second. Let's see. Hey, Manny, good to see you stream. Are you gonna? I will. I know that the silver one that I'm selling is number 6. I haven't put an actual label on it, but inside the cap I'll put a little note inside that. So that's number 6. The one that went out last week, I made an all silver microphone. That would have been number 5. I didn't sign that one or label it, but it's pretty obvious that's almost a one of a kind, and this green one will be another one of a kind. So yeah, so this is one I already sell and I already do. Now, if you are in Europe, obviously there's a whole batch of microphones that you can get that are more accessible out there. For instance, this mic is pretty fucking amazing. My friend Paul sent me this from England. This mic is phantom powered, sounds goddamn fucking righteous and loud. My ribbons that I put in the microphones add volume about 3 to 5 dBs because I cut them really close to the magnets, and I put in a high quality ribbon, and the way I corrugate my ribbon adds a little bit more detail to the sound so they're not as dull, and that has everything to do with the corrugation. As far as other microphones that take high sound pressure, for instance, an N22 and an R84, no, N22 and an N8, I think are pretty much the same mic, except for what they put in between the ribbon and the outside world, which is in the grill. So whatever that's called, technologies or whatever, they've experimented with letting high-end frequencies come through, but yet being able to use it on high sound pressure sources. That's always been, excuse me, oh shit, you did a little yawn here. Oh my god, I already had my coffee. It's 12 noon. Ooh, come on, I gotta come alive. So, and to answer your question, yeah, being in Europe and having things accessible. One thing I will say about the Golden Age mics is every time I've gotten one, the polarity is reversed, which is the front is the back and the back is the front. Front is negative, back's positive. The only issue I have with that, which I don't know why they don't check them, I've done 4 and they've all been reversed. It's a bummer when you use that as a single overhead and you want this really great sound, but it'll never be in phase with the snare, the kick, because it's flipped polarity. So you have to flip it the other way around. You can check that on your speakers if you do a snap. If the speaker moves out, that's right. If the speaker moves in, that would be not. I have these things called crickets that you can test them with that, and also there's a lot of testing gear out there that you can check the polarity on those microphones if you got a pair. I would recommend doing that. But once again, they're affordable mics. They still cost a lot of money. They're still $200-300, but the ribbons in them are just not worth anything, which is kind of ironic and kind of sad that you'd have a Cascade, which has a Lundau transformer. It's pretty much like a bad, loud-sounding ribbon mic. Now, if you put that in front of a drum set, you're like, holy fucking shit, this is fucking great. Yeah, of course it is. You have a Lundau transformer. It's louder than fuck, and it's a ribbon mic. So all these things lend itself to being like really, really cool. But why do Royers still cost $1,200 to $1,400? They have a high quality ribbon. Why do AEA still cost between $900 and $5,500? Because they got sick ribbons. And why do Kohl's, a pair of Kohl's, still cost $3,000 to $3,500? Because they have massive magnets and they have a great ribbon. Everything else, oh no, let me add buyers. And like buyers are probably the most affordable ribbons. They're still 900. 160s went up in price. It used to be about 6 to 500. I've even seen them brand new low is 499. But high quality ribbons, high quality microphones, high quality parts have everything to do with why you pay more money. Now, when it comes to this, and like I said, talking about a budget ribbon, this microphone has the same transducer as what this is out of an R44. This is MXL. It's kind of the same microphone with a different body. Now, what makes this one different is they've put an extra amount of foam here so it can take high sound pressure. When with its original ribbon in it, it's very dark. I don't want to say it's muffled, it's just really dark. And when you put a high quality ribbon in this microphone, then it becomes like my ribbons are closer to a Royer ribbon. So it's like putting a Royer ribbon in a super low budget. I mean, these mics, if you can find them, are like 40 bucks, 60 bucks, maybe 100 bucks locally in Los Angeles. I want to say in the Inland Empire, or maybe it's up in the high desert. There's a guy selling 2 of these, and I haven't been out there. I would totally probably buy them from him, but I want to say he was selling them for 100 a piece, but I think he would have done 150 for 2 of these. And he's out in Hesperia or somewhere up in the high desert in Los Angeles. If by chance I get out there, I am planning to go out into that area on Tuesday. I don't know if I want to drive into the high desert, but if he would drive into the valley and I meet him in Ontario, I would probably pick up those 2, because as far as workhorse and affordable ribbons, these are great donor bodies for that. So today's thing, this is for Chaz on the East Coast. He had 2 fat heads. He has a Golden Age, and he has this mic. I'll be doing the Golden Age tomorrow, but the Golden Age is identical to the one that I did earlier, the Victor by Cascade, except the Golden Age does have phantom power, so there's going to be some electronics inside. I'm not really worried about it. I'm not doing anything to the electronics except putting a nice ribbon in it. With that, mic's going to become louder, more receptive to mids and highs, and it's going to be a killer mic. So today's up on the cutting block is an MXL R80. These are hard to find. I don't know why. People must have just thrown them away, or I don't know. Maybe they were terrible selling mics. But with this thick foam that I have inside, these are great. And I put a resilient ribbon in there, kind of like a Royer. These are great to put up right on a cabinet, and you can play loud, and it's super cool. So yeah, these are affordable. Great donor mic if you're out there. I'm telling you, in the US, all over, all the time. 30 bucks, 50 bucks, 75, maybe 100. Would I buy one for 100? Probably not, but I would buy 2 for 150 if I was looking to redo them and work on them. So, all right, so these come apart pretty easy like the other ones. These just unscrew. I have no reason to unscrew this bottom. I mean, it's misleading. I'll show you why. You would think maybe with this design, oh, thanks, Joey. Yeah, I did a video on the Cricket, and that just shows you a really cool video on checking the polarity. And I had a drum set up, so I was able to figure out that 2 of my microphones, which are switch pin too hot because they're vintage mics, are always going to be out of phase, or the polarity switched. All right, so these 2 screws, it looks like you could almost be like, if you didn't know anything, you unscrew, like the MXL R140s, you would do these screws and then the mic comes out. This mic, that's not going to happen. And it's interesting, they put this little kind of thumb thing. Once you unscrew this thumb kind of plate comes out and gives you access to some of the electronics there. Interesting design. But we, as of, I mean, you and me, and right now, we don't need to access that bottom area to work on the ribbon mic, and I'll show you right now. And the designs are service friendly. If you needed to get in this mic, just make sure it's tight. And a little funky. This little top part is loose. So it's tight. I'm gonna squeeze it a little bit. That's better. All right, I feel better about that. It's not making any noise. Important, totally important. All right, so the way you access this ribbon is just get a little flathead screwdriver and kind of toggle that little crack right there. It's not glued in. It's literally held in by brute force. Give me a second. Also, if you're watching this, I'm going to pimp this. It's one thing to subscribe. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. It's one thing to like, but also you could kind of join here and basically, you know, get exclusive stuff that I've done. I have some really cool stuff coming in, and you could not only subscribe, but you could become a member. And I don't think it's that much money, but it does help me out. It's a monthly thing. You can join up. I think I have 5 members, maybe 6. I know them all. They all are regulars here, so it's really cool. But like when I do videos, like these are live. I could do a live exclusively only to members, which I may if I have something really great. I have 2 things coming up, which I'm going to be giving the members only a first chance to see it. One is I made my own ribbon mic, but there's prototypes. I'm thinking about 6 weeks away from having one I can physically show. And there's also some legal steps with patent pending and getting a few things before I can publicly share it. But with my membership, I will offer you that. I have other few tutorials that I have coming up on videos, which I'll go live to some of the members. This is like going to be happening in about a month or so. So if you want to hold off on membership, that's fine. And then also, if you feel it in your heart and you could kindly buy me a Pellegrino, in the description below, there's a little thanks icon. You can get Daddy a coffee or Daddy a water. But back to the ribbon mic, what we're doing today. And like I said, you don't have to do anything. One of the things I offer too is Sweetwater sells the MXL R144s for 99 bucks. So what people do is they contact me. They get my email address from my description, or write me on my social media, any of them. And I'll give you the information needed to basically go on to Sweetwater, buy the mic for 99 bucks. It's free shipping in the US. You then ship your mic to me. You buy it for 99, ship it to me free through Sweetwater. And then once I get it, it's $250 a mic for upgrading each one. And I pay for free the shipping back to you. I insure it for each microphone. I recommend getting a pair. And then I insure it for the cost that you paid me to have it upgraded. Then, if let's say the day that you get it, it's either damaged in shipping or that you plug it in and you accidentally, and it happened a few times already, where someone accidentally put phantom power and they blow the ribbons. It's just $30. You send the mic back to me, you cover the shipping back to you and the insurance, and I'll always repair your mic. So you can use them on sessions and you don't have to worry about blowing them, and I'll cover them for you. That's what I do for the MXLs. These ones are not new. I don't know if they still sell these. I don't think so. But one of the reasons I do Sweetwater, if you go to Musician's Friends or Amazon, a lot of times it looks like they have it. You buy it, and then they say, oh, sorry, we don't have it in stock, and you end up waiting weeks and weeks to get it and then to ship it. When you go to Sweetwater, MXL must just be like over the moon about the service with them, because you buy it, and it usually arrives in my P.O. box about 3 or 4 days later. So back to this mic. This is what is protecting the ribbon, and it's just basically a cage with some heavy-duty foam. And that is, but you can't see through it. It's just pretty solid and heavy duty. And this grill is just protecting it, but and it's held together by this bracket with these 2 pins. And those 2 pins will go into those 2 holes right there. So to access the microphone, you just literally remove this from the top. Now I have access to the ribbon. Now I'm thinking maybe this is even smaller than this bad boy. It is. Wow. All right, so this has a, was it I think it was a 1.5-inch magnet. That's probably a 1-inch magnet. Let me check that. A 1.5-inch magnet. No. Put the light here. Just do it this way. It's a really strong magnet. What? Well, it looks like it's just over an inch, the magnet. These ones, 2 inches. Oh, no, 1.5. Is that right? Let me see here. That goes right there. Yeah, maybe 1 3/4. I have to open up one, but yeah, the transducer in this is smaller. For some reason, this one looks a little different than some of the other ones I've done. And once again, I don't work for this company, so I don't know what they've changed in it, but technically it's all on this board, which you could be like, oh, that's cheap. But N22s look like this, and so do N8s. They're in almost the same kind of body. Everything is done on a board except the magnets are embedded in here. So the question would be, who came first? I'm probably going to say AEA. And that's what makes me curious about, I've used N22s for a lot of years and I've just stopped using them. Same with N8s. I thought my first N8 that I used was a prototype at Electrical Audio, Steve Albini's studio. I went out there to make a record, and every time I got to like an amp, I would be like, what mic is that? And then my friend Dimitri would be like, oh, that's that black AEA one. Okay, what mic was that? Oh, that's the black. Every time I got to the mic, I was like, what the fuck is that? It's like the N8. So when I got back to Los Angeles, I think it was about 2 years later, I bought an N8. And I just did not sound like the one over there. I don't know. But in theory and in design, symbolically of putting everything on a PC board or whatever this is called, you can see the transformer and whatever is going on in there. You got a little, as Björk would say, it's a little city. It's a little city of electronics. I don't think this is, this is not, no phantom power needed for this bad boy. It takes high sound pressure, so you're going to put this on loud sound sources. But yeah, but this could be active. I don't know if they made an active version, but you can see the ribbon in there is pretty thrashed. It's like flopping around. Yeah, that's really obvious. You can see it just bowing right there. Yeah, it just caved in. So this came out. I haven't touched it. This is the way they come. Cascades, Pinnacles, Golden Age, maybe a little bit nicer. And most MXLs, anything from China, they very rarely come with a nice ribbon inside. And I would say even if this one was tight, it still should be replaced because I don't really like the corrugation. That's like kind of a soft corrugation. And one of the reasons I believe that they come out like this is because when they make this, and this is mass produced, maybe by a machine, I don't know. I think the only time I've ever seen, I think CAD makes a machine that like cuts them, tunes them, installs them. They're going to come out the same way every time. But I don't hear anybody ever saying like, dude, those CAD ribbons are da 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 da. Like, so I don't know. I don't know about that. But when I install the ribbon, if you watch some videos, if you want to learn something about ribbons and you don't know any, you can watch a video on how this is made. They do one with AEA, and then there's a few on Royer. And one of them in Royer, they show you how they stretch the ribbon. And what it is, once you corrugate it and it has all its teeth and it's all kind of crumpled up, you have to stretch it out to elongate it's almost like an accordion opening. So if you stretch it out and then you install it, and the first time wind hits it, it'll expand and then go back to its original shape because it's already been stretched out. When these ribbons arrive from China, they must just install them immediately after corrugating them because wind or maybe like traveling on a truck or whatever the case is, the ribbon starts to open up with stress and tension, and then pretty soon you have a sagging ribbon. So that's one of the things is when I install one, I stretch it out kind of the way Royer does it, and I'm sure AEA does it. You see them blowing on them. They're doing everything they can to expand that, and then when they install it, it's not going to give any more than normal aging a ribbon. Like when you have a ribbon, you should try to store them standing up. This one, maybe not so much because it's small, but that large cascade that I showed you, or your golden ages, you should have them standing up, or if they come with those big cool bags, hanging it upside down. All your larger ribbons should be that way. And let's see here. Get a little bit of loosey-goosey on me here. Just want this to be tight. All right, so now back to the ribbon mic world. So I'm going to work on this mic. It looks like everything is accessible from here. I think I probably could remove it, but there's no need to. These 4 screws would then permit this whole board to slide out that way. And I think once you undo that, this thing would pop out. Once you do those 2 screws, the bottom plate will fall out, which will be holding the information, or the cabling for the XLR. And this little thumb plate goes out, and you can kind of reach inside and do whatever you have to do. If you're soldering, I guess, I'm not sure. I don't remember. Where's the transformer? Well, the transformer's right here. And that's right here. So maybe having access to soldering in the XLRs is why this is there. I'm not sure. But for right now, we're only worried about this area. We don't need to do these screws because that's holding that board in there. I don't know if that's glued in or not. But let's do it. Enough of all this talk. All 5 of you that are watching this. Any day, come on. I got people watching. I have 5 people watching this shit. Lower it. So yeah, you can see the ribbon right now is totally caved in. And that's the thing. If you were to put this on a guitar right now, you could possibly be like, that's fucking awesome. Because the ribbon being like that may add a little bit of, I don't know if it'd be low end, but it would be definitely like something lurking that's kind of muddy and heavy. But when you hear a Royer or you hear a proper tension ribbon with the same everything, you instantly go, holy fuck, that sounds great. So there is a big difference in that. Let me get a drink of my Topatio. Hold on 1 second. I'm back at it. Hold on a second. All right, so once again, I'm trying to wrangle up some members here. I want to do some stuff that is for my peeps, the people that watch this. And like I said, my channel is not this. Doing ribbons is not one of those things where it's like Rick Beata. I'm not. There's no way you're gonna be millions of followers because I'm not giving you clickbait stuff. I'm not starting this off like ribbon mic sucks. Don't ever use one. Everybody's like, fuck you, man. I like ribbon. Oh shit, no, he likes ribbon. Like I'm not gonna do that kind of stuff. You know, I may do something like, does something suck, if it's on a subject of an opinion, which I've been thinking about doing one on warm, and saying, do warm microphones suck? And the truth is, to me, no. They're one of the most affordable mics. They come with Megami cabling. Their 67s come with Cinemag transformers. The capsules are decent. Every session I ever do on drums has 267 John Bonham style, and everybody goes, my drums are insane. And I've switched them out. I have a Lomo I've used, and the reason I like my 67s is I had a pair that was, I think they cost like $12,000 of 1960s AKG C12As, which are the most famous tom microphones, guitar microphones, Rush, permanent pictures, moving pictures. I was getting permanent waves and moving pictures messed up. All over that studio, on the drums, on the toms, on the overheads, Geddy Lee singing with them. I don't know if they put on like insane fucking mic. And if you get in the debate about, I wish this. I wish they would release those warm 67s and call them WADs or WAAs for A plus or WA pluses, you know, because they fucking work on drums and that's it. I put them on guitar, other sound sources, I don't like them. Toms are too much, they're overloaded. Their 87s are fucking outrageous on toms. But once again, I'm using them in different ways that, yeah, a 60, okay, I've had 67s. A real 67 is sick on vocals, sick on guitars, sick on bass, sick on drums, backup vocals, percussions, you name it, it fucking smokes on everything. That is why you pay 7,000 to 8,000 new for those, and maybe vintage ones are a little bit more, but they're incredible. It's why the Beatles used them. But the warm 67s, if you use them just for drums, they're better or as good as $12,000 tube microphones, only drums. So that's kind of the subject of that. So if I was ever to do a video and it would say, do warm microphones suck? That is not a clickbait. That is me just saying that is the question that is asked a lot before people buy their microphones. I did a video a while back, if you watch it, on their 19s, which are copies of AKG D19s, which is Ringo Starr's drums. I mic'd up a whole drum set using them. It was fucking awesome. So if you go like, okay, well, what's the 19? Well, guess what? If you're tired of using 57s, 58s, and you don't want to go out and buy a Sennheiser 421, go out and buy the fucking 19s by Warm. They're probably $100 on the used market, maybe 75, brand new, maybe 150, and you will get a really great quality dynamic mic that will not sound like a 57. And there's a lot of people that don't want that. Well, there you go. That's breaking the code. You're breaking the chains. You're thinking outside the box, and who fucking cares? Now, if you have a studio, my studio is private. I can have 5 clowns in here, and you want to rent my studio? Deal with the 5 clowns that are here doing juggling action shit. That's the way I'm going to do it, and that's why I like to make records. It's my studio. That's what we're doing. You know what I mean? But if you have if you have a dream of having a professional commercial studio, you have to play by other kind of rules, and that's the only thing that when I talk about stuff, it doesn't apply to those kind of studios, because you need to stay updated on your software, your Pro Tools, Logic, Cubase, whatever you're using. You have to have the latest all the time, every time. When anybody walks in, you don't want the customer to go, oh no, Studio da 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 down the street has the current version of Pro Tools. I need that because I'm mixing it at my house and I have all these plugins, blah, 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 blah. That's something I'm absolutely zero interested in. But I am interested in ribbon mics. So let's get to this. I have a lot of cool stuff. I don't know if I'm going to get to another one tonight, because in the meantime, I'm going to try to get this done. I'm going to try to make it to the post office. I have 2 mics that got to go out that are finished. Or if I don't, then I'm going to get more done, and then on Monday I'll go to the post office if it's not a holiday. I don't think it is. So I've got my on-call ready to go. We're going to dismantle this mic. Now, one thing I will say, think about that. I usually like to get these microphones and work on the backside because I replaced the tape. But this one doesn't look like it's too bad, and I don't usually like to do that, but I actually use this tape and it's pretty fucking good. It's the same tape I have. And I'm gonna try to get by on this one without removing the transducer, placing the ribbon inside. I think if I unscrew these, it will come out that way. And these two screws are the only thing holding this in. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of like being balanced with these rubber wash. I'm assuming there's rubber washers, is there? Yeah, there's two little rubber washers. And so I guess if I unscrew these two, it's a lot to do. I don't know if I'm going to do that. We'll see. If I have a problem installing the ribbon, then I will do that. Just going to do a little slice and dice right there. I'm just removing the screen, and I will retape the screen. It's not a big deal to cut this tape off. And that screen is literally the only thing keeping that ribbon in. I was wondering why this is looking strange. I don't have my glasses on. Holy cows. Where are my fucking glasses? I already said it. Did I say the F word already? Is that the first one? Talia, don't do it on purpose. All right. So let's get this last little piece off. And I'll try to install the ribbon without having to interfere with the screen below, which I don't think I need to replace, and I'm happy with this tape. And I'll find out if it's a problem once I install it. Now, once again, about this design, it is kind of cool. It's shock mounted. It's floating off the board with those two screws. So it's not like an N22. I mean, I said the N22, I believe if I remember right, the magnets are embedded in the board. And the only thing that's interesting about that is I like wiring. I like the length of the wiring that runs down. I think it has to do something to do with the sound. And if you look in this one, all the wiring goes from the transformer, has to go down to here. I think that the wiring, I think, has a lot to do with it. So when there is no wiring and it's just a full board, I don't know. There's a sound that the N22s have. I mean, here's one thing that's cool about the N22s. You can use them on the top of a snare, and you can use one on the bottom of the snare, and I've done that for years. And also, you can use it for toms. You can mic up your whole drum set. I see guys that mic up 160s on drum sets. I do believe those ribbons will eventually blow by doing that, but it's not illegal. Making these mics sound really good is illegal in some states. I'm just kidding. The ribbon mic police will say, no, bro. You cannot make those cheap mics sound good. How if I say, fuck you? Yes, you can. And I'm showing you right now. And I already know for a fact that this mic will be 3 to 5 dBs louder and will have a clarity of a $1,400 ribbon mic. And then put that on a fucking cabinet and then play your cheesy Motley Crue riffs. Come on now. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about Mick Mars. Mick Mars, I bought the first Motley Crue record. And if you listen to him talk, he loved Jeff Beck. His guitar tone on some stuff, he played Jose Arredondo heads, Variacs, early Chavez. I mean, the first Motley Crue record, he did so many cool, like, melodic solos. He never gets any credit, you know, because of the band he was in. I like Mick Mars. All right, so we're looking at this. You have a good view of that ribbon now. That's what, I'm not saying all, but a good portion of Pinnacles, no, maybe not Pinnacles, those are new. I don't, actually, let me take that back. If Pinnacles are being made now, Maybe there's a quality control that will make sure that none of the ribbons ever look like this. I would hope so. But I will say that the ribbons that I cut are different than any ribbon you'll find in any of these mics because of the way I cut the ribbons, which is different. And I say I'm influenced by Royer because Royer, they're resilient, they don't fuck around, and they last a long time. That's what I'm interested in. But because of my corrugation and the teeth on my corrugators, you get mids and highs and a tight low end that you would not get from this kind of roly-poly kind of corrugation. I said it. There it is. Manny's an asshole talking shit about other companies, but don't get me wrong. If you bring me some Pinnacles, some Golden Age, some 80s, I'm fucking all about them because I know the potential. And I think it's just kind of sad that even MXL doesn't know their own potential of how good their mics could be with a little bit of TLC. I mean, if you were to ask Sweetwater and you were to give him my P.O. box and you were to say, how many MXLs are sent to this place and what's going on? You're going to see hundreds of MXLs that come to my P.O. box. And it would be like, so if they sell for $99 at Sweetwater, and let's say they sell like these ones that are like 160, 170 that are silver and they come with a nice case. But if you're just talking about the bottom line mics, their profit margin of being able to sell a boatload to Sweetwater is probably they're making, you can say just safely, maybe half that they make back. So $50 a mic. I'm asking them, I even spoke with MXL. I said, listen, I'm just letting you know, man, I charge $250 on these $100 mics, and I'm upgrading them so they sound like $1,400 mics. And it wasn't always about the money. I actually went up to them in New York City at AES. There was a lady that was in charge of all public relations. She was nice enough to put me in a Zoom call with everybody over at MXL except the owner. I pitched them on the idea of like if they could just do a few things and have a quality control and put it out there in the world that they're not normal stock ribbons coming from China, they would then be able to sell their mics for more because they would sound like a higher quality. They would be even if they sold them for $500 and you knew that the ribbon and the magnets and the transformer was fucking top notch, they would be the best sounding ribbon mics on earth for $500. And I'm basically doing that for $350. I'm giving you the price point for $350. You will get one of the best sounding affordable ribbons on the market, and there's nothing that competes with that. If you went and bought a Cascade or Pinnacle or Golden Age and you bought one for $350 and then you compare it to my mic's going to still smoke it. I guarantee you, because I know that I took the time and the care to install the ribbon, make sure that it was tuned well, it looks well. I have fucking ATC speakers, I have Neves, Wally Hyder APIs. There's no fucking around on my system. My playback system is inward connections, headphone and speaker distribution rack. That used to cost, when they made them, almost $2,000. That's just the listen back. That's not the power amp. So my listening environment, because I mix, is super important. And it's a difference from me saying, hey, let me work on your ribbon mic. And then I got like a Mackie mixer and I have like a Persona speakers. Not that I have nothing against Personas. I like Personas, but I'm just saying the difference of when I listen back, my speaker system, even though I have the cheapest, most affordable ATCs, which I love it because they don't have any ports for low end to be pumped out of them. It's just an incredible recreation of whatever I'm listening to. And that's what I've spent my whole life, 25 years as a producer, maybe more, 27, 28. My listening environment was always super important to me. So when I started getting into ribbon mics and I can test these and I can listen back on a system that, not because of the price, because of what I put together that gives me accurate levels of low end, middles, and high end, I can then tune ribbons and I'll know really quick what's going on. Actually, what is that little goop there? Huh. something on this. Yeah, talking shit. That's right, motherfuckers. I'm talking shit. Well, guess what? If you don't like it, like I always say, there's a guy in Pakistan that has a big truck and the axle broke, and he gets it, and it looks impossible to fix. And then it says, how is he going to fix it with pulleys and no eye protection on his welders? Well, he covers his eyes with his hand and welds the fuck out of this fucking Pakistani axle, puts the truck together, and everyone's happy. There's a lot of videos like that. Those are fun to watch. So if you don't want to watch this or hear me talk shit or even believe in what I say, you know what? Opinions, everyone has one. But the truth is, the word truth is just what you put into it. Which if I tell you something and I say that's the truth, take it with a grain of salt. That's not the truth, maybe. Maybe I believe that. And, well, that was a good thing that happened. That thing just came off, so I get to fix that. Truth is what you make of it and what you believe and who tells you that's the truth. And that sometimes isn't the truth. So, yeah, it's perception, and it's not political. There's people that think no one landed on the moon and the earth's flat. And, aliens live in the bottom of the ocean. Aliens live in Antarctica. There's an alien in your butt and you can't get it out. I don't know. Whatever it is, you're an illegal alien. Okay, we're not going to get political here. I'm not. But I'm just saying. Just want to be PC. There's nothing wrong with trying to make a better living and trying to take care of your family. All right, so that came off, and I needed to put that in there so that's not going to move around. And the way you do it, it's crazy because it's actually crazy glue. That's right. We're just going to crazy glue that motherfucker down. And I'm going to say as I drop it, you better stay, motherfucker. Not too much. And I need that to be not moving around because I have a tough time even installing the ribbon. The last thing I want is that little brass plate to be fucking moving around as I'm trying to put the screws in. You know what I'm saying? You catch my drift? She just looks at me like I'm crazy. She'll say something, I'm like, you know what I'm saying, man? You catch my drift? And she just looks at me like, what a fucking idiot. So some of my Three Stooges and Bugs Bunny cartoon jokes just don't work. I'm older than most of you. So I know some of you are all about Barney. No, you're not. I actually looked at the age of the people that watch my videos. It's like 35 and up. There's no fucking 19-year-old, 22-year-olds. There's no hot chicks watching this, man. It's like all fucking nerd fest, older guys that have studios that don't have savings. They don't have a house, but they've got a Neumann U67, man. Oh shit. What do you got? What are you driving? A Volkswagen, but man, I got a 67 and I got a C12 from the 1960s. Holy shit, dude. Where do you live at? I live in my car. You know what I mean? I live at my studio. That's a fucking artist. When you're just like, you got no bragging rights except, holy fuck, man, can someone buy me a coffee? Can anyone buy me a coffee? This man is suffering as an artist. No, I'm not. I'm a two-income family. I need that. I definitely need that. All right, so I'm going to wait that to dry because once I put alcohol in there, I don't want the alcohol to mix with crazy glue. You could glue your ribbon in. Actually, I think some Toshiba old 60s ribbons have to be kind of glued in. And I know some old RCAs that I had to be soldered in. And it's really weird. Like, for instance, if this was an old RCA, with the ribbon, let's say this isn't there and it's all metal, where the ribbon flops over, you can put a dab of solder there just to solder that onto the metal or the iron transducer. You will probably get a better contact, but that is just old school when they were doing it. So enough is enough. This is an R80. It takes high sound pressure because MXL made these. That's a lot of foam. But once they put a really tight ribbon in there, now you're in the money. Now we're talking. Now we're talking trash. We're talking shit. Glue right there. It's not really, I don't know why it's bothering me, but let me see. To drip. If that would have dripped inside, maybe I would have removed it, but I think it's all right. See, that's why the backside of this tape, I would have to remove those to get to it because of this shenanigans. But we're going to keep it that way. Yeah, there's the transformer inside. There's the wiring that runs all the way to the XLR. And if I wanted to have access to the XLR, this plate comes off when you unscrew this and do the 2 screws, and you could solder in that, put this back. And the reason I think that is all there, because initially the first thing you do is probably screw that board in here. So that's not moving. This comes in second. They screw it in there, and this is probably made some other place. Not another place, but down somewhere in the factory. So then it's already taped up, already sealed. They screw it in there, and the wiring, they just get the solder 1, solder 2, they flip it over, and then solder 1, 2, 3 there, and you're done. So, yeah, kind of ingenious in design. But I will say, for a $30 fucking ribbon mic, and then turn it into a mic that sounds like a really expensive one, is pretty cool. And that's what I do. If you want to know what I do, I'm a producer, I'm a dad, I'm a grandpa, I'm a son of a bitch, I'm a shit talker, I'm American, I'm a Latino. What else? I worked with Eddie Kramer, did Kiss. I played with Ozzy's band in an audition. Ozzy was passed out. It was at Mate Studio. Who can say that? I played with Phil Soussan and Randy Castillo, God rest his soul. I don't know what kind of claim fame to have. Jake Lee's my friend. Yep, I know Jakey Lee. Jakey Lee, if you're watching this, fuck yeah, motherfucker. Okay, let's get to business now. So we need to cut a ribbon for this. I did not measure the gap in this. That looks pretty good. If Paul was here, was Paul here? Let me see. I don't see Paul. Paul's from England, like Joey. He always gives me, we always do a test. So, okay, give you a ratio. These gaps in most of these mics are between 4.90 up to 5.5 millimeters. I'm going to guess that this one is 520. If anybody wants to put out what they think that gap is between 490 and 5.5 millimeters, you got about 15 seconds. And then I'm going to check it and we'll see. Let me get my light game going on again. And I'm going to get a drink of my Pellegrino. All right. Holy smokes. Okay, let's see what we got. No one's piping in? All right. Everybody fell asleep. It's okay. It's complete fine. Let's see what we got here. Uh-oh. Joey says 5.3. Okay, so 530. Let's see what we got, Joey. Joey, you could be right. I hope you are, because you're always right. Joey is always right. Holy shit, Joey, you're almost there. 518. 520. You were 10 off. Let me just check the top. You could have 530 up here. Hold on a second, motherfucker. Joey's got a fucking... He's got a number he's trying to get. 530. Come on, Joey. Let's see if we can get it. 530 on the top. Oh, man, my thing is screwing up. Nope, 520, Joey. You were close. You were close. 520 gap is pretty badass. Oh, he's from Scotland. My bad. But I live in the Netherlands for 25 years. Man, you're so lucky, Joey. I would love to live in Netherlands, and I would love to live in Scotland and Ireland, man. I tell you, in another life, I would live in Ireland or Scotland. You know, I'm a fan of the Loch Ness Monster. You know, and I think that the wilderness, how it looks, everything about Scotland and Ireland seems beautiful to me. I know there's a political sense of things that are out there that haven't been the most pleasant, but the people are kind of like Latinos. They're passionate, and don't fuck with them. They'll fucking knock your teeth out. All right, so we got 520 on this, which is very special. It's very special. I like it. So it looks like Chaz got a 5.20 MXL. He's got a 6.3 gapped fucking fathead. I mean, Chaz is just winning with the depth and the thickness of these microphones, and they have a lot to do with that. My dad's family from Ireland. You know, I was working with an artist, a few that have all come from Ireland. I have a friend right now that lives in Ireland. Her name is Johanna, and she's part of Akashic Records. But now it's called Akashic Records and Books. I believe her and Ruben's from Ireland. They live in Ireland. So let's do this. We're going to cut a ribbon. And sorry to have included you into the English countryside, because that would be saying like when Mexicans and they go someone from like El Salvador, they're like, oh yeah, they're like Mexican. Don't fucking call an El Salvadorian Mexican. They'll fucking get bummed out. And the same with the Mexican. Even though it sounds, it's all the same. You know, it's all the same. That's like calling a Korean a Chinese, which they don't like, or a Japanese Chinese, or a Korean Japanese, and a Japanese. Anyways, you get into that whole world over there of just different countries, man. That's another. That's years. That's 1,000 years of just bullshit arguments over shit. We're all the same. We're all the same. We all bleed. We all have bones inside of us. We all have brains. We all take a shit. We all fart. Come on now. David Bowie farts. I'm pretty sure David Bowie used to fart. He's not a god. He is a god. But that god farted, I'm sure. I'm positive. He had to have. Okay, so let me do a little bit of slicing, dicing. Now, I did use up all my foil on the last mic I did. But maybe about 3 weeks ago, I woke up one day and spent about 4 hours cutting up my sheets of foil to use them. Thanks, Joey. I know I said initially you were from England and Europe, but I didn't know you were from the Netherlands. All right, hold on now. I need to get my corrugator up into the schnizzle-manizzles. Oy. And that's what I mean. The cogs that I made, I went to this place and I had, I don't know how many, until I found two that I liked. And I drilled out the center. So this is a cheap, you could buy these for $10, $15 or nothing. So they came with these cogs here. I didn't like these. I know they're really deep. I just didn't like them. And then, so I did some testing on these ones. And then these are some cogs that I made. And I just got them perfectly tensioned in here. Now, if you were to, like in my company makes one, I'm going to have one that these have like the tension of how much you can push these together. These happen to just be perfect. And I haven't took them off. I'm afraid to even move this because I love the way these sound. I will have to eventually take those off and figure out what's going on with that, because they were just a matched pair out of a box of cogs. I mean, I have probably different styles of maybe 4 different styles or 5 of these kind of corrugators. Some that are on the floor, some that are like this, some that are these big metal, like you roll them. I don't really like those ones because the corrugation is just dull and boring. But yeah, so you can go out right now and buy this exact one, probably $10, and use it. And I use it. No secrets. That's what I'm using. You know what I'm trying, man. Okay, so let me get my foil out here. So this is a new sheet that I've already prepared. How much do I have left? All right. Looks like I have 2 left. So I initially had, I think, 5 of these, and I've got 2 left, but then that means I have to break out another sheet, and I don't know. This is one I was using, and I kind of slice and dice this one up. I don't think I'm going to cut this one up. I'm going to use that for probably, well, actually, because I forgot that is a short ribbon. I may be able to get away with doing this one. I need, like, if the ribbon is 1 inch, I need about 2 inches of length to work with, because the ribbon mic, the play that you need to move the mic and adjust it in there, you can't just cut the ribbon exactly to the length. It's not going to work. You could, but that leaves you no room to wiggle. Sometimes, like if I lay ribbon in and I damage this half, I can pull it forward because I've got some slack here and it works out, or vice versa. If, let's say I do a little something here and I got some slack here, I can pull it the other direction. I just want to see if I have enough. That is not enough. But I'm not cutting this one. Yeah, let's do that. Foil is expensive. And that's why when you talk about the work that I do, it costs me, $100 to get the big sheets of foil, even though you can get a lot out of them. There's a certain point where you have to, if you're going to do ribbon mics, there's an error factor, which when I do Kohl's, that ribbon is super fucking expensive. I already ruined half of my sheets by just holding them and it fell apart. It was heartbreaking. And whatever I have left, I've got to use it up like very precious real estate. So give me 1 second. I've got to prepare this to cut it. I don't want to waste it all. So I think I'm going to be able to salvage some of this. I'll just do a quick little cut here. Try to save this little piece for something else. And then I'll try to get a long cut out of that one, as opposed to just ripping up a new one already. Let me get my razor blade action going on. I've got to find the one that's the good one. It's the one that has no X's on it. That's. Let's get these right. I'm terrible. That's racist. When I try to do accents of, I'm terrible at that. I don't know any languages outside of English. I know a little bit of Spanish, so don't talk shit to me. We'll have one burrito and a taco and an enchilada. That's the way I talk. Are you Mexican? Yeah, I'm browner than fuck. What about it? But that's a whole thing in itself, of that story of why I don't know Spanish. I happen to grow up in the 70s, And I'm not blaming this on my parents, but I am blaming this on my parents. Both of my parents spoke Spanish. So when I was a kid, they didn't want me to know Spanish because they wanted to talk shit. And so my whole childhood was them not wanting me to know Spanish so they can go, yeah, motherfucker, we got to pay some bills and we got to do this and we're not going to go there. And whatever they wanted to talk about, I just didn't know. And when I was growing up, it didn't matter to me. I didn't fucking care. Had long hair. I'm learning, Heartbreaker by Led Zeppelin. I'm into fucking Black Sabbath. I'm into Ozzy. And it wasn't until I became 18 that my first girlfriend, she lived at Roosevelt, which is in the heart of East LA. I mean, East LA in the fucking 70s and 80s was fucking brutal. Like, knife to your throat, jumped, and you're stabbed kind of a thing. And then all my girlfriends after that, one lived at Maravilla Projects, one lived at Hazard Projects, one lived at, I think, Rose Hills. And then my son was born at Maravilla Project. So these areas were heavy Latinos, and it's just expected, Spanish. So when I first walked out and I'm like getting off the bus and going to visit her, it was like landing on Mars. I was like, what? Talk about a culture shock, of a Latin culture shock. Growing up where I grew up in was my best friend was white and my other friend was Japanese. And I had a friend that was Mexican, my best friend Manny Morgan. God rest his soul, he passed away a few years ago. We didn't care. No one cared. We would hop on the bus and go to Seal Beach and go boogie boarding. I don't know what Spanish was going to do to get me on that wave, but I fucking got on that wave knowing only English. Well, heavy culture shock. And I just realized at that point, how was that a failure in my fucking life? Was not being instilled the importance of knowing your own fucking language. And I went to school to try to learn it. You asked me to fucking learn the Randy Rose riff, I can fucking learn it note for note. You asked me to learn a fucking full sentence in Spanish, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So, yeah, that's some fucking crazy shit. What's up? Beige LA. I don't know, that's close to being brown. Delete me. But yeah, so that's the story of that. And then, so when my son was born, his mom was Latina, American. I'm American. I told her that there's no way our fucking kid's not going to know Spanish. And not only does my kid know Spanish, he speaks fluent Chinese now. He married a Chinese woman, and when he was dating her to impress her family, because he had to go to China to ask for her hand, and there was no fucking way he was going to do it without knowing Chinese, he actually got certified. He technically could be an interpreter for Chinese. And he learned Chinese. And it was funny because I spent 2 years in China traveling with 150 pounds of recording gear from 2011 to 2013 by myself for 2 fucking years. And when you hit China, all your social medias are canceled. But at the time, there was only Facebook was really it, and WhatsApp, which is still people use WhatsApp, was the only way of communicating. But I used to have to get a proxy to be able to read my Yahoo emails, because once you enter China, all internet is cut off except for what they give you. So here I am traveling around China, learning how to speak to go to my hotel. The drivers don't know how to read. So when you get in a taxi, you have to tell them in Chinese, take me to the North Bridge on the outer Circle 4 next to the da-da-da temple. And they can drop you off there. And then once you get there, you say, hey, take me to the da-da-da-da. Or you get to one where you can then hand him a card and he sees your hotel and he knows the name of that hotel because it was, how to get. So anyways, yeah, it was crazy. For 2 years I did that. I had no idea my son was going to marry a Chinese woman. And now, because I was so in love with the culture of China and how it was when I had gone there, to find out that I look at my little granddaughter who is Chinese, and adorable, but she's a little bit dark. And in the Chinese culture, that's not good. They want white babies. It's cute. So I feel really honored that in my second chance of doing something right in someone's life, I had to make sure that my son not only spoke English well, knew Spanish well, and then now that he's married a Chinese woman, he speaks fluent Chinese. So I've actually been trying to learn Chinese so I can talk to my granddaughter, which is like, saying I love you, which is Hua Ani, and then beautiful, and just little things that their grandma would tell her. And I'm just gonna try my best, even though I'm gonna probably end up knowing more Chinese than Spanish, but I'm too old now. And I know there's always those commercials of getting those apps where you can like try to learn a language, and okay, maybe I'm gonna do that someday. I'll try that. I'm not against it, but that's a little story on Manny's backdrive. But if you look at me, I'm still getting tackled by ICE. I'm still getting fucked up by the sheriffs and the marshal. I'm still having a gun put to my head because I'm Latino driving a shitty truck through East LA. And the cops are afraid because I made a left turn and they pulled me over. 3 cop cars get out. I'm surrounded by 8 Glocks at my fucking head. And they're telling me to take the keys out of the ignition. They're watching me. So yeah, I still get it. It doesn't matter if I knew Spanish or not. I still got Glocks pointed at my head. You're Latino. We're going to fuck you up if you run. Or better yet, why don't you run? And then we can fuck you up. That's another one from when I grew up, being told by the cops. So, wow, that was a big hoopla. And I'm fucking already like 71 minutes into this. And I got to fucking change this ribbon mic. And I'm talking shit. I said I was going to do some political shit. And here I am talking about my buddy Joey in Europe. I'm insulting him about where he came from. Jesus, Joey. I know, right? That is the Great Firewall of China. All right, so we're gonna cut this ribbon now. I hate to waste a long portion of this ribbon because I know this mic is small. I just don't think there's any way I'm gonna get around it. So maybe I can salvage a portion of this. Let me just measure this out really quick. So this way when I cut it, I can maybe have enough to do maybe like a buyer mic or something, which I do have some buyers coming up. This is 5 inches. So this whole strip is a 5-inch strip. The ribbon in this microphone is only about 1 inch. But I need at least a half an inch or 1 inch on either side. So we're talking 3 inches, which would leave me 2 inches of this one. That is enough to do a buyer. So I just want to see what do I really need to get from this one? So that's, I think, safely 2.5. 3 inches. All right. Well, that's still almost a full sheet. I'm just gonna cut the whole thing. And once again, too, I mean, it's not about being thrift. It's just ribbon is so. I mean, the ribbon material is so expensive. I hate to waste it, but also it helps me put in a better ribbon if I have a little bit more slack in some room, because the ribbon material does get damaged when I'm installing it, and having that little wiggle room on the ends of it really does help me. Let's see here, let me get my pen. I know, right? I mean, the shit that I tell you about what happens to me in East LA is nothing compared to what happens in parts of the world. So I'm not asking for some kind of empathy or my situation. There's other people that I'm here fucking cutting ribbons on YouTube trying to ask you to buy me coffee. I mean, how fucking crazy or not crazy is my life right now? But I will tell you, if I walk outside and go to the local gas station, there's a chance I could be tackled, thrown to the ground, have my face shoved in the ground, even though I have an American passport, which I carry with me, thrown into a fucking car, put in detention for 24 hours, and then released later because they obviously clearly made a mistake. So that is my life right now. I'm cutting ribbons on YouTube. I'm trying to beg for cups of coffee. I'm trying to ask anyone if they want to get a membership with Manny, hear me talk shit. Come on now. It's fucking the American way. I'm doing it. I'm living it. I'm living the dream. I just had a good cup of espresso this morning. I made some hash browns and eggs. I cook my eggs the way my son's grandmother used to cook eggs. What she does is she gets a pan and she fills it up with oil that's a little bit more than just a little bit. I mean, it's almost like you're submerging the egg. And then she heats it up, drops the egg in it, and then she splashes the oil on top of the egg. So it's cooking on the bottom and cooking at the top at the same time. And then she'll flip it over right before it's done and then serve it to you. And the eggs are just fucking dynamite. So that's how I make my eggs. It's always like one egg at a time. You don't let the oil get too hot. And oh my God, it's one more fucking thing that I'm obsessed with. Manny, how are you feel about the active ribbons? Are you working on them at all? Yes, you know what? I have no prejudices against active ribbons. I don't like the way N22 sound. There's a little bit of a sound in the ribbon in the active. I don't like the way N8 sound. Those are active. Here's a microphone that is active that fucking blew my mind. This. Paul from England sent me this. R102 Superlux. Holy fuck, is this mic louder than shit. And it was louder because I put in a ribbon. My ribbons are about 3 to 5 dBs louder. So when I put it in that microphone, it sounded like I was running it into 1176. And those are about, they only sell those in Europe. I actually have this mic, which I'm doing maybe tonight. Oy. It's this one. This is an active R1. Now here's what's funny. So this is the active R1. I know everybody saw this at the beginning of the video, but we have a beige LA guest asking me a fucking proper question on ribbon mics. Now here's the counter. This is a Cascade. Same mic. Head basket. Let me see. Before I talk some shit. Toe to toe. Fucking identical. I can't see it. Well, this one probably has some kind of gauze inside. Now this one, I'm actually selling this mic. I know I mentioned it earlier. This one is $450 within the US. I'll ship it fully insured. I've already done the ribbon. That's a massive 3-inch ribbon, and it's clear because there's no, this one has some kind of gauze or foam in there. This one is opened up. Front of drums, violins, percussions, beautiful open up ribbon. This is $450. Send me a message, send me an email. I'll ship it to you fully insured for free in the US, $450. This is called a Victor. If you went out right now and bought a Cascade Victor, it'd be $350 to $450 without me touching it, and the ribbons are shit. So that's what I'm doing to this one. And also, I'm going to test this one. But almost every golden gauge I get, for whatever reason, the polarity is reversed. This should be the front. So this needs to be positive, this needs to be negative. But when I did their lollipops, it was negative and positive, which is not cool. Because if someone doesn't know what they're doing and they don't know how to check polarity, they're going to put that up on their drum set and put a kick drum, and that overhead is going to be out of phase, and that's a big no-no. So yeah, man, hit me up if you're interested in that. And I'm hoping someone grabs it. I just tested it, and my buddy came over yesterday. We could not believe on the fidelity that in the clean definition that you get out of that large ribbon is just fucking beautiful. And then I have this, which is an upgrade. This is an MXL that I put a car paint on it, made it green, a green Mini. This one is made with pure silver wiring. It's about almost 150 to 200 bucks of silver wiring in this. This one's 500 US only. I'll ship it for free, insured for the 500 bucks. Both of those mics, if you get them and accidentally blow them, or purposely blow them, I will just send them back to me, cover me 30 bucks for the ribbon, pay for the shipping, and I'll get those mics done for you. So yeah, this is an active. I'm going to maybe be doing this tonight. I don't do anything. I mean, look at active, non-active. The reason I think active plays better now in the world of recording is because a lot of people have preamps and stuff that are phantom powered, and you can't really blow your mics. When a company makes them active, there's no issues with having them blow, but also them being louder. Ribbon mics are technically lower always because of the impedance. And when they're active, they're really loud. Modern technology and modern records, people want loud microphones. Ribbon mics are just inherently not loud. So I'm not really that much. I know people get cloud lifters. Now, a cloud lifter sounds fucking ridiculous on 441s and 421s. And if you don't have a DAW that has a loud, or if you don't have a Neve or an API, SM7s need a cloud lifter. So there's nothing wrong with investing in a pair of cloud lifters. And but if you get the cloud lifters, you can use them with regular ribbons, and they sound beautiful. So I don't know. It's a debate, tomato tomato. I just know your options are kind of running out now for getting passive ribbons. I love passive ribbons. Like the R88 to me is fucking godly. The passive version, not the active version. So that's just preferences of what you want, and what you prefer. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing this one tonight, which is identical to the other one. I can't see the ribbon inside. I'm hoping it's the same type of glass, what's it, hourglass shape, which to me are my favorite transducers of large ribbons. That'll be tonight. So I hope that answered your question. I don't think of any other active ribbons. I mean, Royer has them. Bayer doesn't. Um, AEA now puts, active 44s and stuff. I mean, all it really is that some people don't have old consoles and old preamps, tube preamps. And when they plug into their DAW, the DAWs aren't loud enough to accept that to give you a high signal. So the phantom power just makes it a lot easier for modern recording. So I get it. And I'm not against it, but I probably won't have any active ribbons. And since I'm making my own ribbon mic company, as of right now, I'm not interested in making any active ribbons. I think that circuitry adds a sound to the ribbon that most of the time I don't like it, except when you get this, which it just turned out to be loud. This is like, it's like getting a ribbon mic and putting it into a bullhorn, loud as fuck. And I actually liked it. It was shocking on how much better it sounded with the new ribbon, and then it just fucking kicked ass sonically. Yeah, that mic blew my mind. Maybe, and once again, I would never have known that mic unless someone sent it to me. And my friend Paul in the UK had sent two of those to me to do. And out of all the mics he sent me, those two kind of shocked me. 5-inch ribbon. I only need 3 inches, but I'm just going to see if I'm able to salvage anything. What do I need? Oh, my razor blade. Put it in the danger zone over here. I always have this OCD thing of if it's just a little off, I look at it like, what am I looking at? It just doesn't feel right to cut, so I have to just kind of get it in my muscle memory zone of going, okay, that's good. You got it, mine. All right, I got it. Let's do it. I did like the active cloud mic. Yeah. I mean, I think the cloud mics may be some of the closest, like, well-built. I don't know if those are made in China as well, but I've heard nothing but good things about them. I've never worked on one, but I know the guy that used to design those or started that company. He had been upgrading mics for a long time. And I think sometimes those are the best people to start a company like that. I've just been working on upgrades close to 5 years now. So I started my own company a few years ago, and instead of releasing a microphone, I kind of told my partners, I'm just going to just fucking work on ribbons longer. I need to educate myself on designs, and I don't want to limit myself to saying I know it all and I don't know it all. So now at this point, man, I think I've worked on almost every ribbon of the world, every obstacle you can talk about and no one's trained me, no one showed me. Yeah, I can't find any information on some mics online, so you have to use your spider senses. And so far, it has worked out to where, like a dog whisper, I can look at a ribbon and know when I install it if it's going to sound great or if it's going to sound bad. Like a day ago, I did a Cascade ribbon. At the time of filming it, I'm like, okay, this is okay, but I don't fucking like it. And then in the morning, I looked at it and said, no, there's something weird near one of the brackets. I'm going to do it again. And I did it again, and it fucking came out awesome. So yeah, you have to have a sense of feel, and I believe that only ribbons. No, I shouldn't say that. I mean, whenever you work on microphones, it's always artistic in some ways. But I think I've always been into like paper mache, clay. I wanted to be a special effects artist, so I'm using your hands and creating something, like seeing a piece of cardboard, like let's say a shoebox. I'll see a shoebox when I'm a kid and I make a robot out of it. So your brain thinks about what can that turn into? So when I'm modifying a ribbon, I'm like instantly, oh, I'll bend that this way and that'll work. So all these things that I grew up on that have made me creative, I think helps me in the ribbon world. Even though I don't think I'm mechanically, I'm mechanically inclined to a certain point, more artistically. But I think electrically inclined, like for electrical and just having that like sixth sense on electronics, I'm not really, that is not my strength. So I'm going to rely on my strength, which is creating ribbon mics. And I do have a few partners that are really great in electronics. And I may just farm out some, if I make a tube ribbon mic or something like that, I would, I think I would take advice from someone else, not my own spider senses about that. And also, obviously, I would use my ears as well. If I had someone that was helping me, I would say, okay, let's build it, and then I want to hear it. And if I like it, I'll say I like it. And if I don't like it, I'll say what I don't like about it. And if you are working with someone to build something, that is cool when you have that creative, perspective of being able to know what you want to hear, and then having someone that can help you achieve that. So yeah, I don't know if that made any sense, but this ribbon separated from the paper. Hold on a second. All right, the razor blade. I don't think we need this. We're gonna cut this motherfucker. Oh, we're gonna corrugate it. But man, if you can, whoever's listening, that Cascade that I just showed you, the Victor, the one that I'd already redone, that is the best bang for your buck, man, because it sounds as clear and as open as you'd want, and one of the largest ribbons next to getting like a 44. And when I add 3 to 6 dBs of sound by a good cut ribbon, it fucking really makes a difference on a drum set. And I'm talking about if you are a producer and you're creating some drums and you want them to sound organic and you want them to sound nice, that's when good ribbon mics really work. When you got a trashy drum set, like I have, it's weird to say it, but I've now spent more time putting together drum sets that I really like. I think a good sounding drum set, a good tuned drum set, goes really far with making records. So my snare is a 67 Ludwig, my kick is a 50s Ludwig, my toms are John Bonham-esque toms, one's an 18, one's a 14. Super big drums, but when I get them tuned right, the microphones really fucking love them. And I think that that's the factor that I changed now, because I have most of the time my drummers will come in and I'll say bring your snare and I'll put up their snare. If I like their snare, we keep it up. If I don't like their snare, I'll say, hey, try this. And usually 9 out of 10, they're like, oh, fuck, we love that snare. So then I use my own snare. But that's has a lot to do with getting good drum sounds. All my tutorials that you see are me showing some drum. I think a few videos ago I did like 2 drum solos with different drummers. That's my drum set, and that's tuned by me. And then I also had Hunt Sales from Iggy Pop's band. He played Less for Live. He had tuned the kick drum at my old studio, and I've never changed it. So when it comes to knowledge of recording, the mics are part of it, and the drums and the musician make up the other half. But if you can get each one of those elements good, you're in the money. Or you're closer. I mean, I did a session where I had my drum set, my mics. I just did one of those drum set videos, so I'm like, oh fuck, my drums are fucking good. Had this guy come in, holy shit, he made my drum shit sound terrible. I was like, what the fuck is that? It's the drummer. He hit fucking too hard and he hit too hard on the snare, super light on the kick drum, and was bad on the kick drum. And he hit the drums sometimes hard, sometimes not. So those inconsistencies, but you know what, he hit the same? The cymbals, fucking loud and fucking hard all the time. So what do you do when you got a guy going toom ta to ta, but his hi-hat work is just fucking awful? Well, let's call suck it up and do the best you can, because that's all you got. Those are real drums. I don't use sample drums. I'm at the mercy of the drummer, but that doesn't make me go out to want to buy a sample set. When you hear my recordings, they sound organic. They sound real because it's real drums. And it's like, fuck, it's not my fucking job. It's like I never once took drum lessons and doesn't know how to tune his drums. I'll do the best I can to help him in the session. But as far as a life hack, if he hasn't figured it out now and he's already in his 40s or 50s and this is how he plays, there's nothing I can do about it. You know what I mean? All I can say is when he's in the other room, God, you fucking suck. And then he walks in and I go, dude, great take. We got it. I'm not saying I'm a liar. I'm being constructive. I don't want him to be bummed out. I want him to play the best he can. I got 6 more songs with him. And even though I know I have confidence in my editing, that's what I'm dealing with. All right, so we're going to stretch this ribbon out. I like the way I grabbed that. Once again, I have to grab it from upside down. It's weird. I don't know why I have to always be that way, but I do. Okay, so now we're going to stretch this ribbon out like Royer and AEA. I can feel it. Very springy, but I don't want to do it too much because I don't want to break the ribbon. That's the ticket. When I first started doing it, I was like, oh, great. And then rip right in half. I was like, oh, my fucking God. Like the first 3 or 4 I did. And then I finally figured out, like, just calm down. Just lightly stretch it out. It's not a fucking big deal. It's not a fucking bungee cord. It's a thin 2.5 piece of ribbon. Anyways. Why am I always talking shit? So we're going to load this ribbon out into the microphone. Now I think I did cut it too long for me being comfortable to work in this area. So I'm reluctant to do this, but I feel like I need to cut this ribbon down to about 3 inches. So to work on it. This, I almost felt like taking it out of here to work on it because this bar kind of fucks up my world, but I can get around it. But I do think that when this mic was made, they unscrewed these, they unsoldered that. This was done outside, and then they load it back in and solder it up. I don't feel like I need to do that. I think I'm good enough to avoid that. But in the most perfect world, that's probably the easiest way to put the ribbon in, but not the easiest way to get the mic and do it. So anyways, hope that made sense. All right, so I'm gonna cut this down to 3 inches. If you have the hiccups, I have the fucking hiccups, they go away. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not really gonna get much out of that by cutting it, so I'm gonna cut it anyways, but that other piece that I'm just gonna throw it away. It's not gonna be useful, but it'll be more fucking worse if I try to work with this ribbon that's too long. Yeah, this is useless. I don't know any ribbons that would be, so let's just see. All right, motherfuckers. Yeah, you look good. In the trash you go. Sorry, brother. But we are slimming you down. Okay, so now I need to work in this environment which is not the best, but I think it's doable. I think for some reason this feels different than the other ones I've done. I don't know why. It's been about maybe a year and a half since I worked on one, but I've done so many ribbon mics. I'm trying to remember. I've done maybe 4 of these, and I don't know why I feel like it looks a little different. I don't know what that is, though. Give me a second. I'm going to take a drink of some Pellegrino. I'm going to read a message from Joey. It's always good when recording is good. That's right. The best thing you can do is track a band live and kill it. If they play something, even when that drummer, okay, let me say this. Let me do a correction of that guy. It just took me, which should have been done in a day, it took me 2 days to capture him to play 5 songs. And all the takes that made the record were fucking killer. So it was just a matter of giving him enough time, making sure he's comfortable. And I didn't pick the takes necessarily on the full band playing them the best. The takes were on him playing them the best because their bass player was pretty sick. And when he came in to play his bass over the best takes of the ones that we picked, now we're talking lightning in a bottle. So it did work out, but on the valor of his own playing, it was tough. And those are the hardest records to do when you have to just somehow make him comfortable. He's got to feel good. You don't really criticize him. You're like, let's play it again. Or you can give him some criticism like, hey, I think your kick drum pattern is da-da-da-da. And they figure it out. And then usually one take, they get it right. And you're like, that's the fucking one. Well, I don't know. Nope, that's the one. You can't play it again like that. And he never does. So I just, as a producer, try to make sure that we can get a killer take. And then I'm happy. Right? Oh my God. Talking about, Juan mentioned about Mexican Coke and Doritos soda. Yes. No joke. It's so fucking strong, man. If I get those sodas, I like to cut it with sparkling water. It's so fucking brutal. When you cut it with sparkling water, it's still like I'll drink half of a Pellegrino and then I'll get the pineapple one and I'll put it in half, and it's like the best fucking soda. It's all sugar cane. Holy moly, holy macaroni. What the fuck? Okay. If you can do it this way. Wow, I did it. I did it, mine. Oh, I didn't do it yet. Let's make sure it fucking rocks. Alright. Alright. That fucking looks good. Holy moly, Manny. You are pretty good. That looks fucking as they used to say in the 70s, dynamite. Alright. Let's get that fucking my schnizzle manizzled in place. Let me see if that's straight. If that's straight, we're in the fucking money. I know. I never thought about cutting coke, but it's fucking sweet, man. All right. Well, it looks like we're fucking good on both ends. That is a shock. Well, it's not a shock, but I'm happy. I'm happy we're one and done. I hope. Let's hope that I don't fuck this up before I get it done, because if Chaz tunes in and he sees me working on his mic and I'm fucking it up, he's going to be like, Manny, I trusted you with my kids. Why are you dressing them this way? I'll have to be like, listen, motherfucker, that's the way I'm dressing your kids. And he'll be like, fucking knock your teeth out. And I'll be like, hey, bro, I'm a 2nd degree Taekwondo motherfucker. But today in this world doesn't mean shit because I'm not MMA. Even though I was almost maybe 2 belts from black belt. I did learn a lot about martial arts. And then I did get into MMA for about 10 years. I've not been up with it currently, but I understand the shortcomings of karate and mixed martial arts. I do think there is an art about it that's beautiful. I did learn a lot by learning by learning Taekwondo. And I believe that Chung Lee, my teacher, could beat up Bruce Lee when I was a kid. But I quit when I was 18. I got up to a second-degree blue belt, and I planned. All my friends went to black. I had some personal reasons that I'm not going to talk about. That some of it was financial, about the pressure on my family to pay for my mixed martial arts, that I felt like it wasn't worth it anymore. So I stopped. And I told myself I was going to get back into it, but when I started producing, I didn't want to get any kicks to the head and fuck up my ears and fuck up my head. So I didn't do it. And even though I love fucking combat sports, I didn't want my equilibrium. I had friends that had accidents with their ears, and it really fucked them up later in life. So I just couldn't go that route. Oh shit, man. Sorry to hear that, Joey, but you're probably a badass motherfucker. You don't fuck with Joey. He'll fucking knock your teeth out, and he knows what it's about because he got his own teeth knocked out. All right, let me just take a quick test of this. I think I can get this hair tighter. So let me see if I can check it. All right. When you see it go away, I'm just checking it in the light to make sure that the ribbon is in the center there and in the center there. So when I put the bracket in, it sometimes will move. I just want to make sure that it's right. And once again, if you like what you see here, man, become a member. I have some really cool videos. I have about 3 really important things in my life that are coming up that I haven't talked about. I mean, I've hinted to it, but I'm going to share it first here to my buds. And I do appreciate you guys all tuning in, making it fun for me. I mean, I could be sitting here doing this by myself right now, or I could be talking shit with you guys. And I kind of like talking shit. The only problem is I can't see this now. Hold on. This fucking right. Chaz will be fucking tripping balls if I don't get this right for him. There is just fucking up my shit. My schnizzles are, you know, if I didn't have that bar there, my finger would be a better position to hold this bracket down. You know what I'm saying? Just a little happy little bird right there. Can put a little river right there. Maybe we'll do a little mountain. Maybe we'll do a little shade. We'll add some shade right there and we'll make a happy little flower. You know, a little happy screw. Just put this little happy screw in there. By a little river. A little happy river. And happy sunshine. Remember, it's about sunshine and rivers and baby birds. And birds that are flying. Get like that, because I don't want to fuck it up. Remember, that was a plate that I had replaced, so I'm glad that it sat well. Okay. My finger blocks it so the screwdriver won't go into the fucking magnets. It did the other day. It was a really bummer. It's heartbreaking. Holy fucking cows. There it is. Now that corrugation and that microphone is going to be dynamite. Dynamite. Let me, this is what's going to get fucking fucked up. I hate this part. I have to break off this, oh shit. I have to break off this little tail. That's fucking weird in there. You got it, mine. Okay, and so now I want to just make this so it isn't a problem. There it is. That's good. Okay, wasn't that special? There it is. High grade aluminum, corrugated like a royer, inside a $30 microphone, and it's gonna sound like a fucking very expensive ribbon mic. I'm not even fucking lying. I'm not even fucking lying. Remember what I said about truth? That's what I believe. And truth, at the end of the day, is only what you put into it and that you believe. So, I don't know, it's kind of zenned out when you think about it that way. There's some people that can will shit, and it will come true because they've willed it. I believe that you need to express things and put them out there in the universe. I remember when I built my first studio, it was in Glassell Park. I did 2 fucking sick records. One was a band called Vaz, which are ex-Hammerhead guys, and a band called Chokebore, which both of those bands used to be on AMREP, Amphetamine Reptile, which is a sick fucking label out of the Midwest. So my first 2 records were 2 sick AMREP bands. And I remember when I finished both of those records, it came out fucking insane. I was like, oh, even now when I hear those records, I'm like, oh my fucking God, man, how did I do that? So one record is called Vaz, V-A-Z, and the album was called Dying to Meet You. You can find it on YouTube. And the other one was Chokebore. I want to say the record's called It's a Miracle. After I did those records, and I had built my own studio, and if you know, building your own studio, even back then, was so taxing. I remember walking outside my studio, and I looked up in the sky, and I said, will someone ever hire me to go into a nice studio? And in some ways, I was like, so I won't have to deal with my own bullshit of low-grade gear and mics and preamps. I'm not even fucking lying. A year later, I was in Abbey Road. I did the Breeders record. Kim Deal flew me out there by myself. I worked in Abbey Road for 3 days because I put it out there in the universe. I would love or when or how can I make that happen? But you gotta say it. Like when Jim Carrey wrote down he wanted to get paid $20 million and wrote that little note to himself. I mean, in some ways, I should write, I want to become a millionaire and find, a pot of gold. Maybe that would happen because I have this power of going, like, let's say in my studio, this Vice, I don't want to buy one from Amazon, but I think that morning I'll go to like 3 thrift stores and try to find it. Guarantee you, man, I'll walk in the thrift store, I find it in the second one, and I go, why can't I fucking put that power into finding money? Instead, I'm finding vices and cheap microphones. It's just, but I do believe there is some zen about that actual act that is good for you. So if you have some dreams and some things that you want to do, like one of my dreams is I want to record at the Black Box in France. That's a dream of mine. So far, I've recorded at Steve Albini's studio, which is one dream. I had to record at Abbey Road, and that came true. I wanted to record at Sound City. I was at Sound City for almost 4 months with Kim Deal, so that came true. The other one is the Black Box in France, and there's another studio in France, Lebray, or I forget the name of it, but 2 studios in France I would like to work at. So that's what I'm putting out there in the universe. And yeah, mine. Just Sharon and Karen. Okay, so we're going to be putting the screen back on to finish up this now badass fucking ribbon mic. It is fucking, as they say in France, tits. Yeah, that's what I heard. I'm just saying. I mean, that's once again that moment of truth. Is that really true, Manny, that in France they say tits? Well, I believe it, so that means it's true. And you can take that with a grain of salt, but don't take it to the bank. Okay, I made an error. These are too long. I'm cutting these for the larger ribbons I do. I need to cut these strips down. Well, that one is longer. No, I think that's gonna work. Let's just choose another one. Right. Thank you, Vincent. I appreciate that. Vincent said hello, everyone. If you want to say hi to Vincent. Any friends of mine here? And these friends are all friends of yours now. Okay, I think this is... I need to make these thinner. Let's just redo this again. This transducer is just tripping me out. It's tripping balls. All right, let me cut this down so I can get 2 out of this one. I think that'll do it for me if I can get 2. Ramon. And when you think about it, if you correct, you would know what Razor Ramon was known for. Holy shit. See what we got. Let's see if I can do this right now. This transducer is just a hair smaller than what I'm used to cutting everything, even my ribbons. And even these little tapes, I had to mark down to cut them at 2 inches. And it seems to be giving me a problem. Oh, that's what I'm doing. I didn't cut these down. Oh, no, I think it's going to work. Yeah, do you know Razor Ramon? Shit, dude. Fucking San Gabriel Valley. Jesus Christ, man. Razor. And when I didn't do drugs. I've never taken drugs in my life. So I didn't really know what the association... I just know, like, Razor Ramon's here and everybody would get happy. I'm like, oh, fucking Razor's so cool. Like, I didn't know why they're really happy and why Ramon became Razor Ramon, if you know what I'm saying, man. You catch my drift? You know what I'm saying, motherfucker? Okay. All right. Well, that looks sweet. That looks pretty good. All right, Vincent, here's the thing. Where are you from? We got Joey, originally from the Netherlands, now in Scotland. We got Juan, I want to say Lancaster or Palmdale. I don't remember which one. I know it's in that area. And if Mr. Hernandez would have piped in, he would have been from the Inland Empire. You know what I'm saying? That's right. So also, if you want to help me out, you can become a member. I think I got 5 members. Joey's one of them, I believe. And you can also, in the thank you, which is underneath the description, you can buy me a cup of coffee or Pellegrino. But even better, man, I've given you all these cool microphones that you can get and you can upgrade. Definitely hit me up if you need one of these to get done. I can take care of it for you. I have a few for sale. You can write me about them. I definitely think bang for the buck, the Victor Cascade that I showed you at the beginning of this video is fucking dynamite. Someone's got to get it. It's just such a good mic. And now it's really, for the guy that has a laptop and wants a drummer to come up and he puts a kick and snare mic and uses it as a center overhead, or he just wants one mic on the drum set, that's fucking beautiful. You know what I'm saying? That microphone is almost as pretty as my eyes. I'm just saying, almost as pretty as my eyes in sounds. All right, so now we got to get this motherfucker back together. And that's the coolest thing. This doesn't really have any screws to take it apart. It kind of snaps back together. Only the body, if you're taking it apart, would need a little bit of some little schnizzle-manizzles to get it going. All right, so we're going to put this back in now. If I remember right, I'm going to start with one side first, because I remember it's a little bit of a bitch. Which one is the easy one? Okay, that's easy. So, and that's the foam inside. This has been cut out to give it some sonic heaviness so it doesn't blow. All right, we're fucking up already. Let's get this in here. There's a little kind of like a guide that this is going to follow through, and I don't want the foam to buckle up. So you just got to make sure the foam, but I'm not going to bring it down all the way. Just kind of like about a ½ inch from fulfilling this because I have to lock in the top. Oh, wait. Originally from Scotland and now moved. Oh, so you're in the Netherlands. Okay, I get you. I understand now, man. I won't get that confused again. I can't promise that, but from Scotland, now you live in the Netherlands. Okay, you motherfucker. Lucky you. All right, so now we're going to get this on. I'm going to slide this one on the same way. And this one has this little top part. Now, what I want to do is I want to put this top part in one. It kind of clicks into the screen. And then as I bring this one down, I need to clamp it into this one. You can only do this with the basket kind of up because it's kind of like a tension hold. So as you put it together, maybe even bring it more out so it locks in. And it's wider and you have room to wiggle with these two top pieces. So now I got this not in all yet. That needs to be in better. Hold on. There it goes. Okay, so now this little plate, which has these two little white pins, which are going to go into, can't see it. Let me put my light on this. There's a little hole right there. And there's another one right there. So it's going to snap in there. So now you just bring this down even as possible. And it's going to be kind of like compacted in there where that little wedge is going to now hold it. Make sure it goes into those. It did. Snap. Okay, so now it's snapped in. So there you go. Pretty sick. Oh, we forgot the most important thing. No disrespect to my homies at MXL. I appreciate them making these mics, which they made fucking every mic they make is fucking killer, except the ribbon sucks. And that's where Manny comes in, adds his little magic ribbon, and now you have a fucking dynamite mic. And that is my gift to you all. There you go. I don't like that. No, I don't like that. We're just gonna go over this motherfucking all the way. Why fucking not? Oh, damn. Damn. You fucking fool. This fucking fool. This. I'm not gonna get it all. So okay, well, it is what it is. There you go. Just right. It's fucking crooked. What is going on? Is the label crooked? Because I'm getting it on the fucking schnizzles. All right, come on here. We're almost done. Let's get this right. All right. Looks about right. There you go. Bam. OGMC stands for Original GravityWave Microphone Company. When I was a kid, there's this movie called Rollerball, which is fucking sick. And the lettering was from Rollerball, but it's also the same lettering that Scorpions used. It's from the 70s. So OGMC, which is a phrase in itself. It's a hip-hop phrase, OGMC. But I got it so long ago on my Instagram that if you search OGMC, usually my microphone company comes up. So it's Original GravityWave Microphone Company. It's my own mics that I'm designing and making I get my prototype. It's been about 4 years in the process, and I'm getting my first prototype back in a year. I mean, I'm getting it back in about 6 weeks. My theory for my own company was this. If you look back to the very first video I made here, I, from the hand ground up, made a double ribboned, fucking badass microphone that just sounded fucking incredible. And when I got done with that mic, I was like, I'm fucking a genius. I'm gonna make my own company. And then I tested it on a loud, because my guitars are played at low volume on small amps, which that mic would have been fine for that. But I have to be realistic that people aren't gonna always do that, and I can't put caution warnings on it. So I put it on the Marshall, and my mic was just ruined. The design, I didn't even know. I thought the ribbon mattered, but the sound pressure hitting the mic, all these things. The case, I went to Home Depot and bought this metal that I formed into a dog's head and made a mic, and it was cooler than fuck, but it wouldn't last up to high sound pressure. So then I was kind of like, okay, well, obviously I need to learn more about ribbon mic. So I went down the rabbit hole of repairing every ribbon mic I could find. And that's still my case right now. They've sent me microphones like this mic I've never worked on in my life. This one I've been raving about. But and symbolically, a ribbon mic is 2 magnets or 1 magnet or 4 magnets. And ribbon and a transformer. That's it. So even though I've worked on some of the oldest Telefuncas, and Reslos are a son of a fucking bitch, and then Coles are fucking so hard to do. 160s, oh my fucking god, do not start doing ribbons on 160s until you got them down. But all these microphones that I've done have educated me, because I felt like if I'm going to make a microphone, it's like me saying, hey man, buy my stock car. And you're like, dude, do you ever win an Indy 500? No, but like I paint it fucking, like, no, I want someone that's like, it's like Shelby. You know, Shelby would get a Mustang, and then he puts his name on it, Shelby Mustang, and guess what? It's a mean motherfucking car now. Well, I want to do the same thing with microphones. I put my name on it, and I make them into mean motherfucking microphones, and that's kind of my theory on that. You know what I mean? Yep, GEC. Actually, I'm going to be putting transformers in those ones that I had that I did a while ago. So I'm waiting for them to come in the mail. Paul actually ordered them. I recommended, like, hey, these mics from the 40s, the magnets are a little bit weak. Let's get a transformer in these to really pump them up. So we're going to be doing that with them. But yeah, so in theory, it's the same thing with go-karts. I'm going to make you a go-kart. Well, did you win the go-kart championship? Or motocross, did you win the fucking Red Bull motocross race or whatever? I'm making a jumping motorcycle. Well, do you fucking do that for a living? You just got to learn your craft, and you got to know it. When people make these microphones that aren't producers and they're just scientists, or there's someone that think it's cool and they got a knack for it, that is one thing. But it all around me right now is a recording studio. I'm literally making records and working on these mics. So I'm going to get this microphone. I'm going to listen back to it on ATCs, going through a inward connections speaker system, or a selector box for headphones and amplifiers, going into old preamps. And I have Wally Hyder APIs, Neves to MA5s to Avitas Brent Abel preamps. So I can check all this stuff to make sure it really fucking works. And that's it, man. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. So I'm going to be heading out. I will come back tonight to do that golden age. And if you guys want to help me out, man, I got a few mics for sale. Hit me up. They usually sell within a week. Last week, 2 of them sold within a day. It's only word of mouth. So unless I tell you here, I'm not posting it anywhere. So maybe one of you want to pick one up, let me know. And shipping is free in the US. And this mic is done. Chaz, this is one and done. I got one more to do, but I'm going to get into his golden age this evening, all right? Everyone, oh, there you are. Hello, speaking of the lady. We just finished one of these MXLs, which is super sick. I'm gonna be back tonight. Maybe you and your husband will be back in tonight. And then we'll talk about it. And also keep me posted. You got an email coming my way, and I got some microphones that I'm going to work for you on. Mary and Sam, thank you so much. I appreciate you both. You guys are awesome. I'm gonna be back on tonight. I think realistically, I'm gonna try to be a little bit earlier, maybe sometime between 7, no later than 9. But let me know if you guys want to pick up those mics. Hit me back, and I'll talk to you guys all tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You want to support? Like, subscribe, but then you can also become a member. I am going to be doing 2 videos coming up. They're going to be very private, very important things for me that I want to share it to my buds that are always here supporting me. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Subscribe, become a member. Doesn't cost a lot, but it really goes really goes far for me. All right, I'll see you later, Sam and Mary. Cheers to everyone.